Hi everyone, I'm Gideon Masters. I'm a writer and I have just completed Gestation, third book in what was to be the Lucifer's Child trilogy, but is now presented as a series. Eve has proved far too interesting a character to be left on the precipice of so many mind-boggling possibilities. Consequently, I have left her future open to further development, and other books may follow. When I started to write her story, I had an idea of where I wanted it to go. But with such an apocalyptic premise, I couldn't decide how best to get there. So I let Eve take the lead, and she has proved to have a mind of her own. Other characters were introduced at various stages of the books, and they too began to dictate their place in Eve's incredible journey into the unknown. Eve is an entirely unique and complex character. We first encounter her in Book 1, Lucifer's Child, as John Wolfe, an experienced police detective who has been forced into medical retirement. He is a fighter, however, and is not going to let his last 6 months of life slip by in self-obsessed obscurity. He finds employment as a bodyguard at a religiously sensitive archaeological dig in Afghanistan and is soon embroiled in the politically volatile discovery of an ancient otherworldly artefact containing two humanoid bodies held in life suspension. To escape a violent military intervention, John's scientist employer, Isaac, needs to access the power of the artefact and believes the undying but lifeless bodies within must be animated to achieve this. John's cancer is the key. Its immortal ability to grow forever if unchecked is, he believes, akin to the more immortal cellular structure of the bodies. Under extreme duress, he uses this similarity in an ad hoc experiment to create a bridge for John's psyche to enter into the body of the female, later known as Eve. Unfortunately, the genius Afghani fanatic Afsoon manages to take possession of the male body, unleashing an apocalyptic chain of events and adventures into which Eve is irresistibly drawn, that will ultimately change the future of reality and all life contained within it. These are books of possibilities. Perhaps I should expand on that. Lovers of quantum theory will know that the expectation of just one observer can dictate the outcome of diverse possibilities at a subatomic level. By extension, we might consider the possibility that if all, or at least the majority, of sentient life can be manipulated to accept reality as being a certain way, the universe may conform to that weight of expectation at an atomic level. Could we be responsible for its structure and future form? And more worryingly, could one very powerful mind or spiritual entity influence those expectations and dictate the destiny of all? We could compare this with the Gnostic belief of a universe created by intelligent design. They would suggest that the Creator, although very powerful, is no more than a distant emanation of the true and unknowable God. This demiurge, or half-God, is faulted and has created a faulted reality. He is possibly ignorant of any power beyond himself, and may be uncaring or even malignant regarding the human condition. Perhaps we were created solely for some benefit to him that disregards our spiritual welfare. He or it may reabsorb us or cast us aside when that purpose is fulfilled. However, Gnostics also believe that in order to create sentient life, he had no choice but to imbue each of us with a spark of divinity. It is that spark which so interested Lucifer in the allegorical Garden of Eden, when he suggested eating from the tree of knowledge. With sufficient knowledge, or gnosis, we would be able to see our way to return to the true source of creation and the fulfillment of our divinity, and so escape the prison of this false god. Buddha, Jesus, and others are also thought to have tried to teach us such knowledge. Having both human and divine origins, Eve is a catalyst in a fractured universe and exists and interacts on both celestial and terrestrial planes. She will meet with and be judged by deities, demons, and divinities, and judge them in turn, and strive to find a higher place for herself and for the whole of humanity. Is this all just fantasy? Perhaps, but spiritual things have many aspects and may well manifest in forms that meet our expectations or are extant within us, rather than external. Indeed, our own divine spark may be largely external and too vast to be fully contained within a corporeal form. It might be said to be anchored to, rather than an occupant of our body and mind. Where do my ideas come from? I have long found both science and theology deeply fascinating. In my work, I have liaised with different faith organisations and interfaith groups. I am intrigued by how similar philosophies of all established religions are. And not only the philosophies, but often the actual stories and teachings themselves. The act and method of creation, virgin births, 12 disciples and such. And also how, if you look deep enough, the sciences, and quantum physics in particular, seem to reflect established creation stories. Even that some of the pioneers of this new and exciting science referred to ancient Hindu texts as inspiration for their theories. It is fascinating to me that such a religiously compatible science is also at the cutting edge of computer science and many other new technologies. If you have found yourselves captivated by my vision of a dystopian reality and would like to read my books, they are available in both paperback and ebook formats on the TSL Books website and all other major distributors worldwide. Or stay tuned at this time for a serial reading of Lucifer's Child trilogy. Book 1 is hard-hitting and somewhat graphic in places and is perhaps not suitable for young or sensitive readers. Thank you for listening. This is Gideon Masters signing off until next time. Goodbye.